coach at Volcano Vista. And congratulations, 400 wins. And what does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. A lot of special people and hardworking people that have been in this long journey with me, and starting with Cesar Cuevas, who, he's right down the hallway from me here teaching at Volcano, and got to coach him when he was at Manzano. Had a bunch of good players, and Travis Julian and I got started together, and David Gibson and Eric Arrell, and and now we have, and we have some really good coaches on staff, Scotty McCall and Barry Bates. But throughout the years, there's been some ups and downs, but just, when you get these milestones like Roy Sanchez just had, I think it just, you look at how old we are, but at the same time, how many good people we've been around.
Well, don't talk about age, because I'm right there with you. Okay, so
yeah,
I got a few more years on you, but I'm looking back. I've had fun. It's funny, as I get older, I look back and I've watched you coach. I've watched you grow as a coach. And you and I have had some great conversations. And for whatever reason, you've asked me some questions about coaching and stuff. And it's been fun for me to see you go from a controlled coach to letting your guys play and let them get up and down the court and let them make their decisions out on the court. And then you've done such a great job of, like I always talk to you, said, just let them go play a little bit and let them believe in themselves and then call them in. But what you've done with your coaching ability is it's fun to watch. It's fun for me to watch, because those guys just go out and they play hard. And then if they don't do the deal, you call a timeout and they respond to what you say. And that's hard to do in today's age.
The game's changed though, Steve, as when we were coaching against each other, 15 years ago, structure was kind of the fallback, and it was it was ball control, and there's no shot clock. And so really try to figure out how you're going to get the best possessions defensively and offensively. And, now the game's a little bit more, it's just different. Spacing's important. And then how can you play a little bit quicker and make quick decisions, with that space. And in order for that style to work, you have to have players that are pretty skilled. And nowadays, these kids, they do spend some time in the gym, but they have access to so much information. And so we do encourage skill development, whether it's with us or on their own. And so as a coach, it's fun because, a lot of kids can do a lot more things individually now than they could in the past. But the game's changed, and so we're trying to change with it.
Well, you definitely have done that. I mean, it's remarkable to see. I'm the old school from Norm Ellenberger and John Wisniewski days. Defense. You start with your defense, and I truthfully, when I kind of started with that, it was really didn't know how to run offense. Right, just go play defense and attack the rim and just go shoot the ball. And as long as you play defense, it was real simple. I try to make it as simple as I could make it. Just go play defense and go get, if you want to go score, just go get it off the rim. Get it off the board. So, but that was Norm Ellenberger and Wisniewski's philosophy. But it's amazing how the three has really changed the concept of coaching. And speak on that behalf, because that's been the ones that have adjusted to that have done well. But other coaches like me, I probably couldn't adjust to the 3-point.
Well, I was, when the 3-point line was initiated in high school, what was it? It was in the late 80s, So I remember that when they started putting stripes in the high school gyms. That's how old we are, Steve. And, and it has changed the game. But even when the 3-point line was around, when we were growing up playing, it wasn't utilized as much as it is now. And whether it's Steph or whether it's the NBA or these analytics, the 3-point line is very valuable because it spaces the floor. And if you have kids that have to be guarded from the 3-point line, then it allows your drivers more space, as you know. And so, but going back to Norm Ellenberger and Coach Wisniewski and, the guys that you grew up with, coaching with, defense still rules, and it's still what we strive to be about at Volcano. And we spend a lot of time focusing on, whether it's scouting report, whether it's some of our different shell drills and systems that we try to do defensively. The offense, it's hard to keep up with. It's hard to defend the space that's on the floor now, like Sandia and, Hobbs' athleticism, and some of these teams that we got to play in Phoenix. It was the set offense and the shot clock was interesting for us defending those guys. But defense is still going to be the thing. It'll always be the thing for us at Volcano.
Well, a perfect example of that is when you played, I think it was Rio Rancho, and you didn't shoot the ball well. I mean, and usually if you're a good defensive team, because I think you were 1 for 19 from the outside, from the 3-point, maybe worse from the outside. I don't remember those stats, but what was so neat and so great was that basically you got people just coming in and getting part of the action. But
sure.
What I talked to one of your assistant coaches was, I just said, look, your defense pulled that game out. I mean, you couldn't have shot any worse, and that's the toughness that you've taught your team, is because they fought through there. A lot of teams, if they shot 1 for 19, they would have collapsed on defense.
And it's hard not to. We still have the kids. I mean, everybody's motivated when a shot goes in the basket. I mean, our defense is better when we make shots, but we've had a handful of games this year. It's basketball where we're not shooting the ball well. I don't know if we got the best shots against Rio Rancho. They were flying around defensively in that game against us, showing us different defenses, and we never got really into a great rhythm. But defensively, we hung in there, and we have guys that have the experience of being there in these games and not letting the pressure of the moment be too big for them. And we were able to, in that Rio Rancho game, in the Sandia games, in the Hobbs game, we were able to make some plays down the stretch. But defensively, for the most part, we've been pretty solid throughout the year. Some holes at times rebounding the ball. Our on-the-ball defense can be a little bit better, but still work in progress.
Well, and like I said, you still haven't peaked. I mean, that's the thing and I think you don't want to peak right now anyway. You want to peak here the next 2 or 3 weeks, right to them. But that shows that you have room for improvement. But it also shows that once you do peak, how difficult it's going to beat you.
Yes, and that's the goal, is to see how we can get this where we would like it to be at the right time. And we are still building. A key to us has been our rest lately. We've been able to get a little bit more rest now that we're in district, get into our routines. And, we call it our second season. Pre-district is our first season, and that was a grind for us. There wasn't a lot of rest, and there was a lot of adversity, with injuries and with, difficult opponents. And now we're settling into the district season, and hopefully we're going to keep improving. So by the time we get into the state season, that we'll be at our best.
We're going to go to the Everguard Roofing and Solar top 10 plays of the week. Come back, and we're going to talk more about games coming up tonight, and then games coming up during the week, and then also other teams across the state.
So.
Working against Cox. Here comes the trap.
They're going to come to the
He
ball.
lost it
Good
again.
steal.
Here comes a dunk in transition for Jaden Cox.
Going to the half. Campbell goes all the way. Oh, look at that little chicanery. And in trouble. Brings it back out to Jayla Cordova. Over to Kendra Sanchez. Her three. Rims in, counted, and a foul. Chance for the old traditional 4-point play for
Mazzano looking down low, flips it across. Oh, if that was a clean look. Pulls up. Oh, my.
Or drawing board, rather. As that's a steal by Koningsberg to open the third. The layup is good. Trouble, Horner to Montoya, the baseline jumper for the tie, connects! Cheyenne Montoya with the biggest shot of the game.
Zone. There's another one. Get out the cameras again. Butler, 2 in a row. One hand this time.
Call from the Artesia sideline is patience as they find Kincaid inside for the two-hand hammer.
Poked away by Butler. He'll get it back in transition. Butler with the two-hand hammer. Gerard Panini's got a clipboard in his hand. He is a stat numbers guru. So you know he's aware. Oh, what a putback for Cox.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
We're about to go back. Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. We got Greg Brown, head basketball coach at Volcano Vista, and 400th win, and we kind of touched on it. Like you said, it doesn't happen without and you touched on coaches and assistants and the school systems and all that. But I know there's so many players, but speak on behalf of the. You've been fortunate to. You've had great players in your system.
Yeah. So at Manzano in the 2000s, we had some really special teams, and it took us a little bit to get that going. But our last 2 years at Manzano, we had about a handful of kids that had the opportunity to play at the next level. It was the 2006 and 2007 team and a state champ and state runner-up team. And I also coached Rodney Ferguson. Do you remember him? He was a Lobo running back.
I do.
He was one of our first multi-sport guys at Manzano. And so it was those athletes at Manzano, because you would have the city kids, and then you'd have the mountain kids, and you had to bring them together. And, we had a really good thing going on. Coach Ocampo was the football coach over there. And so we got that going. But when Volcano Vista opened up, we just kind of realized that, okay, Cibola is thriving and the Rio Rancho schools are thriving. So it's only a matter of time before Volcano, we're thinking are going to get the best athletes, just moving in and the community growing in this area. And so our first year we were 3-24 and we played at the 4A level. And then those kids all stuck around, and we went to the Final Four the very next year, and had some up and down years. You remember, because those are those times where, I was picking your brain and still am about, certain things that we were doing. And, we had those early days of Sam Haywood and Mario Molina. And then we had those days of David Cormier, having a special senior year. And he almost didn't play basketball senior year. He was kind of getting pressured a little bit to start his football career early. And then initially didn't play basketball, didn't come out, and then said, "Coach, would you take me even though I'm late?" And I said, "Of course I would." And, and then he had a special senior year leading us to a state championship. And then, the Caden Valdezes and the Jarrell Phillips and Jelante Grays, and leading to this year's team, and we had Big Sean Alter, who we didn't know about until, we saw him at a park close to our school and found out that he was homeschooled, a 6'8" homeschool kid. And he came and made a difference in our program. And now he's playing in the Philippines. And And now we have this senior class who's been super special, and it's surreal as they're winding their careers down with 6 of them. And the big 3 have been a part of 3 state championships. They've won a lot of games, and so it's going to be a fun last stretch going into this. And, there's been a lot of pieces and a lot of people involved in this fun journey that we've been on.
Well, I want to bring up one other player, and that's Hill that plays for New Mexico Highlands. I still get to go up and watch him play, and Gatorade player of the year and state champion. Those are class kids. I mean, they're great kids, great student athletes, and it's kind of fun. I get the best of both worlds. Some of these kids I've watched for 8 to 10 years. I mean, that ages me. I mean, with that COVID. Last year, I've been doing their games since they were in the 9th grade. So we're laughing because they haven't graduated. It's like 11 years later, they still haven't graduated from college. So
yes, sir. Jaquan has been one of our all-time greats at Volcano, and he of course is known for his senior year and being able to make those free throws, looking into our crowd to put that game into overtime. And he's been proud of him because he's been persevering at Highlands in terms of having a redshirt year. And now he's in the mix and contributing and playing pretty well. It's only a matter of time because basketball is very important to him. And, he's going to continue his success at Highlands.
Well, and the thing that you've built, I don't get to talk to you as much because you've had so much success and that, because I don't feel like I can contribute like I did when you were younger. And I don't know why you would even listen to me, what I had to say anyway. But I appreciate, we go back, back to your Manzano days, and we've had great, 30-minute talks and things about, and you'd pick my brain about, and I told you what, only coached 1 year as a high school coach as far as the head coach, and told you what I would do different and what I would do this, and then why I quit coaching basketball, and when I found ProView Networks, and right now I got the best of both worlds. I get to watch the game, and it's fun for me. Like tonight, I haven't seen Farmington play. I've kept all their stats and everything, but I always try to figure out what you're going to do. I don't come talk to you. I just try to see what I would do if I was going to beat the opposing teams. And it's really fun the way, your team and all your athletes, they respect me, and it's fun for me to just go out there and just be myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, I think just being part of the community, and growing up in the community, when I tell these guys I'm going on with you, they know who you are, and, they see you at our games, and Sebastian, and, being around, and he's been super supportive of all the programs, and, I think that, us going back and coaching against each other, and then us sharing some philosophy things, and that was, during the time where Volcano we're trying to get it to the next level. And I remember you talking about how you would build the program if you could do it all over again. And you were talking about the young kids, and giving those guys opportunities to develop the development of some of the young kids, and so, as you see, we have them in this class, and a lot of them they get to play JV, and get some quarters with the JV, and then they get some quarters with varsity, and so stuff like that. So instead of watching the whole varsity game, they're playing in a night like tonight, whether it's quarters or full games, because a lot of our guys got to play a full game against Rio Rancho, because Rio Rancho's junior varsity is very good. We're continuing trying to develop our young guys, because these really good seniors are going to be gone in a month and a half, and the program can't be. We got to keep moving it forward.
Well, I'll tell you, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about your district opponent tonight, and also about the rest of the state. But anyway, Greg, Greg.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Greg Brown, and again, congratulations on the 400th win and many more. I know that's not. Let's work on that 500th and get to that goal, and we'll have another Steve Davis Show. But districts here, okay, and a big game tonight. And again, thanks for coming on. I know you got plenty of things on your mind besides talking with me, but. Farmington, scary team. I mean, I haven't seen them play. Like I said earlier, but the coach, Shitty, he does an unbelievable job.
He does. He's been there for a few years, and they play with good pace and they space the floor well. Coach gets a lot out of his guys. They play good defense. They've been good for the last couple of years. Have a scorer on their team averaging close to 20, and some athletes around him and some shooters around him with some size. And so it's fun because we haven't played them. We play them in the summer and some in the fall, but new to our district, them in Piedra Vista. So travel is what it is, but the fact that we have a new opponent, it interests us, and we know that it's going to be a battle, and hopefully we're ready for it.
Well, I got to know him, just over the last 2 or 3 years, and I mean I watched his teams, and I think the biggest thing that, and this, and your team knows, you have a target on your back. I mean, you're going to get the best performance every night out of everybody. They're going to come at you. They're going to try some new things with you, and the thing about your team, and I've said this on the air, and I still is that what you have, your basketball IQ on that. Those guys are very smart. I mean, and it comes a lot from your coaching staff, but if they get in the bind, you call a timeout. You get the ball to the right person, or somebody steps up and makes a play, and then you go on another run, and that's what's fun about me doing your games is mm-hmm. Like I even said it the other night. I saw y'all play pretty good for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, you played everybody else. So I haven't really seen y'all play for 4 quarters yet. So
yes.
When that happens, then that's when you're peaking at the right time.
For sure. Yeah, we have some guys in the program, especially our seniors, that the terminology is not new to them, and it's been pretty consistent throughout the years in terms of what we're trying to look for on both sides. And it's nice to have the seniors this year that can be examples and for the younger guys coming up. And so the IQ part of the game is a big part of it. We do try to watch quite a bit of film. Usually it's on us first, and then it'll be on our opponent. Just so we can see things, we can do things and then see things. And but I have some coaches around me, and the players will tell you that their IQ. I mean, I rely a lot on my coaches for their perspective on things, and because it's when you watch film, you know this, Steve. When you watch film just from your point of view, there's plenty that you miss. But when I bring my coaches in and we watch together with the guys. Man, there's a lot going on that film that's been able to, we can use as teaching points.
Well, I think the word is when I was, going back to my days, you get tunnel vision. You look at it from your philosophy and how to make your philosophy. Whereas you get somebody can come in and look at it and say, "Man, why aren't you doing this?" And you're like, "Hey, you're right. Why aren't we doing this?" And sure. It's great to have those type of assistants, and all the successful coaches, they've had great assistants, and most of them have been head coaches or want to be a head coach.
Exactly.
So they do a lot more, they may be more detailed than you are now, because they bring to attention more of the things of what is not being done or what is being done good.
And then you have players, Hudson and Kenyon and Ryan, especially those three. Evan Asilian is grown in that area, who in the film room, they have a voice too. They see things and they have suggestions, and they're especially senior year guys. We've had some good ones with Jaquan's team. It's their team as well, so we're not going to put stuff out there that they're uncomfortable with in terms of offensively and defensively, because they've got to go out and produce for us. But conditioning wise, making practice hard, yes. But when we watch film, execution things, there'll be times where we'll just pause it and say, "What do you guys see here?" And to hear Kenyon's voice in the film room has been good for our young guys.
Well, and the thing with Ken, I got to know him a little bit better. I mean, I think I don't go up and try to. It takes time for those guys to get to know who I am and or what I do. But him and I've kind of got a rapport now. But it's fun, and your sons, and I'm getting to know a few other players. But it's kind of fun to go out there and watch them, how they prepare for a game. But you tell Houston that I'm missing a meeting tonight where I can go watch his JV game. Okay, just so that's how important that JV game is to me. So.
He said he's going to get 5 fouls for you, Steve, in 2 quarters. He only plays 2 quarters, the first and the third.
Well, don't tell him don't foul out before I get there, okay? So make sure.
Well, he'll wait till he sees you to get his 5th foul, and then he'll have to pay.
Hey, well, Greg, thanks for coming on, and good luck for the rest of the season, and I'll see you tonight.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You bet.